Hello Algebra, welcome back, and today we're going to talk about the slope of a line. So what I've set up for us already is the line and an equation for us. So I'm starting us off with the equation y is equal to 2x plus 1, and then I filled out this table of values here using this equation, and then I plotted those points. So here I have the point -3, -5, for example. And if you'd like to pause the video and take a second and go through and make sure that you know where those points came from, that's not a bad idea. But what I want to do to you today is talk about the slope of a line, which is there's a pattern here that is going to tell us a little bit more about lines and about how to graph them. So the slope of this line is what you look at if you have, let's go ahead and make it a line here. Let's do it in yellow, just so that we can see the difference. So we have our line here. And then we have a pattern in our points. So when I go from -3 to -2, I'm adding 1. And from -2 to -1, I'm adding 1. I'm adding 1. I'm adding 1. Right? I'm adding 1 in each of those points. And those are my inputs. I just chose them. So every time I added 1 in the x direction, something happened in the y direction. So from -5 to -3, I'm adding 2. -3 to -1, I'm adding 2. Adding 2. Adding 2. Adding 2. Adding 2. So as I went from left to right here, so when I went up 2 in the y direction, right? I went up 2 from -5 to -3. Then I automatically added 1 in the x direction from -3 to -2. Can do this in triangles, I think is better. So here I add 2, add 1. I go up again 2 and 1. Up 2, add 1. So if we look at it this way, the slope of a line is defined as the change in y over the change in x. So in this particular line, the change in the y direction, we add 2. In the change in the x direction, we add 1. So the slope of this line is 2. So this was our line, y equals 2x plus 1. And notice that our slope is right here. That's this formula for a line, is mx plus b. And the m here stands for slope, so that's why. The b part is actually something from another video we've talked about. What's the b in this equation? 1. So if b is equal to 1, let's take a look back at our graph here. What's happening right here is our y-intercept, and it's the point 0, 1, or 0, b, if you're following that equation. So this is the slope, the change in y over the change in x, and you can actually calculate it just given any 2 points. So here is how to calculate the slope. Given any 2 points, x1, comma, y1, and x2, comma, y2, the slope m is equal to the change in y y2 minus y1 over the change in x, x2 minus x1. So let's go ahead and calculate a slope. And we're going to do it between these 2 points. So we're going to calculate the slope between the point -2, 6 and 1, 4. So let's go ahead. And let's say, right, we have our points. And let's, for the first example, we're going to do this 2 ways. The first way, we're going to say, look, call this one x1, y1. And call this point x2, y2. So our formula says y2 subtract y1 divided by x2 subtract x1. And so we're going to start with y2 minus y1. And that'll give us 4 minus 6. And then we're going to do x2 minus x1. And that's going to have us do 1 minus -2. And this will be our slope. All right. That's going to give us 4 minus 6 is -2. 1 subtract -2 is the same as 1 plus 2. So then that gives us -2 over 3. And that would be our slope for that. All right, so what happens if I swapped the order of my points? I'll show you what that means. So I said -2, 6 would be our x1, y1. And I said 1, 4 would be our x2, y2. What if I change that? What if now all of a sudden x2, y2 is our first coordinate and x1, y1 is our second coordinate? Does it change our answer? Let's find out. So now I'm going to take y2 and subtract y1. And that'll give me 6 minus 4. And I'm going to take x2, subtract x1, and that's going to give me -2 minus 1. And then I'll simplify here. So 6 minus 4 gives me +2. And -2 subtract 1 gives me -3. Now notice what I have here in 2 divided by -3 is I have a positive number divided by a negative number. So I know that the answer to a problem like that is a negative number. So 2 divided by -3, if I simplify it, that's -2 over 3, which is the same answer that we got before. Same